Bill here with the Metals Minute. Today is Wednesday, December 14th, 2022. Well, it's been an up week for the metals, lower overnight, but higher for the week. Already seem to be moving up today so far at the time of this recording, and higher for the year, all four of them. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium, all had a nice jump for the week, including silver. Silver had a great week last week, up 7%. They're up, silver's up another 4.5% as of this morning, and it looks like it's going higher yet. So what's happening? Well, this is just a reaping of all the time that we've waited. You know, sometimes it feels like nothing is happening, and then other times it seems like what you've expected to happen begins happening more quickly. And that appears to be where we are now. Things are beginning to happen more quickly that we always knew would happen. So that's what's happening. What else is going on? Well, today we have an interest rate announcement expected by the Federal Reserve. That's due at 2:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 Central. So we'll be expecting to hear from Chairman Powell. It might be, 10 minutes later before they get to announcing what the interest rates will be, but sometime right around that time, 2:30 Eastern, we'll expect to hear what the new rates are. The consensus is that it will be likely a 0.5% increase, and that's what I think too. It's probably what they'll say. The thing to keep in mind is even if they raise rates again, they're still going to be less than the rate of inflation. The latest inflation numbers came out this week, and what the headline was in the press was that the rates have come down. Inflation came down. But here's the situation. It's still over 7%. Even the stated inflation, the official inflation, is higher than 7%. So that's still an incredibly high number. What does that mean? Well, it means that $1,000 that you have a year later is only worth $930. That's what it means. So that's still a really high number compared to what we're used to having. So inflation is a real concern. It continues to be, even though it's lower than it was. Even inflation at 4%, which is just a little over half of what it is now, that's still a high number, relatively speaking. So that's one of the reasons people are beginning to wake up to precious metals. Another take on it is the prices are just getting closer to what the real prices are, and not just what the paper spot price is. So we seem to be moving closer to reality in terms of physical. And I believe that's something we'll continue to see as we move forward. So we've got interest rates probably rising today. We've got inflation that's lower but still incredibly high. And precious metals are all higher. Now, let's think about this for a minute. How can you protect your dollars? If we look at dollars compared to most goods that we buy, let's take a dozen eggs, for example. Eggs, I saw a chart the other day, they're up between 20 and 30% this year. Milk is higher. I've heard of people paying $6 or even more for a gallon of milk. Well, you could say, well, let's just buy a bunch of eggs and milk and we'll be set. Well, the eggs, after about a month and a half, you better check them out. Do the water test. You can Google that. Get you a glass of water. You can make sure your eggs are still good. The milk, after a couple of weeks, you have to give it the smell test or the taste test, and much longer than that, we'll probably be needing to check on you at the hospital. So the point is there's a lot of things in life that we could buy to try to protect ourselves, but they won't necessarily last as long as we need them to last. That's where precious metals comes in, especially gold. Gold, in its pure form, will always be gold. Silver for the most part, but sometimes it might tarnish just a little bit. Gold, 1,000 years from now, left in a box, you're going to open that box, it's going to be the same as it was then. And that's why people store wealth and store their savings in precious metals, because from a year ago today, the price in dollar terms is higher. In other words, dollars have decreased in value compared to gold and silver. But those coins continue to, or bars, whichever you prefer, they continue to hold their purchasing power. Even though the dollar price of an item has gone up, well, guess what? The dollar price of gold and silver has gone up too. So when we liquidate that 10, 20 years in the future to make a life necessity purchase, we'll be able to do that without devalued cash. And we always need some cash, but for longer term savings, we recommend precious metals, and the numbers are indicating why we do that. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you again next week.